Are we at 9 o'clock yet? Oh, we're almost there. Oh, we're so close. "20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Beanie Talk. That was ridiculous. Figured why not do a weird intro today? Why not? It was a bit extensive, I must admit. However, fuck it. Right? What is it? This is our lives. We get to do whatever we want with them. As long as you don't hurt anyone. What up, Buttercup? Buttercups? Butterkai? Who's transcended this whole being at home thing? Has anyone made peace of it? Has anyone ripped out all of their hair yet? I haven't. Mine's actually growing back. Slowly but surely. Ever seen Prince of Egypt when he starts to grow out his hair? I don't know why. It just made me think of it when I saw myself. Beanie Talk, though, so we got to keep the beanie on. You know how it is. 10 things. 10. There's just 10. There's 10 things and a set of links that if you live in New York or Los Angeles or anywhere in the country, these are good links to know. But there are just 10 things tonight. I'm going to try to make this shit simple. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to confuse people. I want it to be really simple so we can just know what is happening quickly. I love you guys so much. I had some great snacks today. I'll answer a couple questions. Why not? There are these Lay's chips that are super tangy, and I had them with gummy bears. It was salty and sweet. It made my life amazing. And I had 3 cups of coffee today. And I did a Wim Hof breathing session. So, woo! Set the dogs off. Anyway, 10 things. 10 things that you should know, I think, going into the next day about COVID-19. I've been listening to Trump's task force. I've been listening to Mayor Eric Garcetti. He's the mayor of Los Angeles. And I've been listening to Mayor Blasio. And this is what I've been doing to pass the time, is I've just been listening to the fountainhead. Fountainhead is like where the water comes out of the ground. And I've been trying to get simplified information. And in doing so, I try to repeat that here on Beanie Talk. Anyway, 1, the FDA authorized the first coronavirus antibody test today, which will help us identify people that got corona and then ultimately got over corona. And what that does is that helps us learn way more about the disease and its relationship to our body. The way that we're going to fight this thing is with information, and the more people that we can test and learn about the way that the virus interacts in our chemistry, the more that we know how to fight it. Big news. 2, there's a new recommendation that's happening in New York City, and now it's happening in Los Angeles as well. It's across the country in 2 different places that are getting hit by 2 different levels. But the new recommendation is if you are going outside, if you are going to leave your house, which you're safer at home, the only reason you should leave your house is if you're going to go get groceries or something that's super essential to you staying alive. If you're going to do that, you need to wear a protective face covering device. That could be a bandana. That could be a scarf. That could be cotton that you just wrap around your head like a shirt, a long sleeve shirt that you tie like this. You put it underneath here like you're at Coachella or Burning Man doing something crazy. This is better than nothing. And if you sneeze, cough, or whatever, talk a little bit and spray a little spit, this will stop the spit particles from coming out. You're saving yourself. You're saving other people. You should not leave unless you absolutely have to. And if you do, wear face covering. This is not a replacement for social distancing. You got to remember that. This is if you have to leave the house. You have to have a face covering. Is it mandated? No. But why would you not do it? You wouldn't, because we're all really fucking smart here, right? Exactly. But what this does, notice I'm not saying it's a mask. These are face covering devices. Masks are like N95 masks or surgical masks, and those are for medical professionals. So you gotta just cover, face covering, however you'd like to do it. Stay safe. 3, 10 million Americans filed for unemployment over the last 10 days. Outrageous, unprecedented numbers. Our government, I really hope they're doing something to figure it out, man, because it is a serious issue. I was talking to a buddy of mine earlier today, and we've known that, you know, there's going to be a useless class. I mean, not just my buddy, but Yuval Noah Harari, the Israeli philosopher who wrote *Sapiens, Homo Deus, and 21 Lessons for the 21st Century*. He's predicted this, called a useless class, because of AI. Right now, we have 10 million people that cannot work, are not allowed to work. So they are a jobless class, and it's because of COVID-19. So this is a little peek of the next 2 decades, 3 decades, or even decade. So we're understanding what we're facing. I can talk a little bit slower. I get excited sometimes, and I talk fast. Okay? Excuse me. New York City asks for... That was 3. We're at 4. New York City asks for the nation to enlist a national medical personnel draft. So back in the day, there was a draft. Vietnam, World Wars. What we do is we draft every able-bodied human being gets drafted to go into the army and fight in a war. This is a wartime against COVID-19. So the mayor of New York City, Blasio, is asking for the government to create a draft to enlist all medical personnel that live in America to actually go to New York, go to the places, anyone that has any sort of training in nursing, as a medical practitioner, as a surgeon, as a doctor with any medical training, to be enlisted and to go to New York to help. It's something he's asking for. It's a really big ask. It happened in the Department of Defense, which this is 5, but it kind of like relates to 4. The Department of Defense, which is like, you know, the Pentagon, like our military, all that crazy stuff, is using military medical personnel and deploying them to places in America. So it's kind of what the mayor of New York is asking for, but the mayor of New York is asking for way more than that. He's asking for the reserves, military, and civilians that are trained in the medical fields to go and help. The Department of Defense, though, in something that is not what he's asking for, but within the vein of it, sent military medical personnel to the Javits Center in New York to be doctors and help out, and to 2 different convention centers, one in Louisiana and then one in Dallas. So things that you can see when you're reading between the lines is that why would they send military personnel to Dallas if Dallas isn't a hotspot? Well, clearly, is it blurry? I don't like that. Hello. What you do when you're reading between the lines is you see where they're sending medical personnel. Now it's just dark, bro. Is it better? Okay. But yeah, it looks like Dallas is heating up. Louisiana is heating up. We have Michigan is heating up, like Detroit. You got a lot of places that are starting. Their cases are starting to go high. But that is number 5. That the Department of Defense is sending military medical professionals to places like Dallas, to places like Louisiana, and to places like New York. 6. Something that New York is also considering, it was something that we talked about actually a week ago, was BiPAP machines. Well, they need training on BiPAP to lessen the need for ventilators. BiPAP is it's like a alternative, but it doesn't do the same thing that ventilators do. It's a different machine used for something different, but they can be altered to serve a similar purpose as a ventilator, and they can be used. A BiPAP machine can be used to lessen the need for ventilators. And that's something that they're considering, and they're asking for training. A great company called Adapt Health is really at the forefront of like that training and offering their services, which is super, super exciting. My boy works for Adapt Health. That's my guy. And it's cool to know, because he was telling me about BiPAP, which is why I mentioned it a week ago. And now the state of New York is in on it and considering it, which is really cool to see. That's number 6. Number 7 is something that has it has a lot to do with COVID-19, but it's not something that we're going to be seeing taking effect until after COVID-19. It's more of a consequence and implication, an afterthought that is caused by COVID-19. It's something called Buy American Order. And this is legislation that is, months down the road. But essentially it's Trump says that, and some people in the government believe that America is highly dependent upon international import and importations of medicine that we need, and utilities and resources. And so this new order that's being written and talked about is called Buy American Order. And it's the idea to bring advanced manufacturing and innovation to America on American soil to improve self-sustainability. I don't know a lot about this. It seems like similar to like isolationism, which was a movement back a while ago, but it feels a little different than that because it's not quite the exact same thing, but it's like in that vein. But anyway, what it means is it's possible that we're going to have a lot of industries coming here to America, more jobs, hopefully. But it's like foreign policy too. So there's a lot that goes into that. I just wanted to bring it up. I heard it today, thought it was interesting. It's not going to happen for a couple months, but it's something that they're looking at. Number 8 is the Department of Defense, the same Department of Defense that's putting military personnel as doctors to Louisiana Convention Center in Dallas, and the Javits Center in New York. The Department of Defense is using, they have a code, and they said this live. They said that there's like this coding, this software, something that they're going to use to help organize and distribute the commercial supply chain down to the county level and the individual hospitals. So what that means is it's super hard to organize what hospitals in what county, which like 4 hospitals in which county need X supplies from this thing. It's hard to get. That's a lot of information when you're talking about 50 states, all with like a whole bunch of counties in them, and then like 30 hospitals in a county or whatever it is. How do you organize that? So the Department of Defense is saying that they're going to lend their code that they usually do, that they use to organize supply chains for like weapons and stuff. They're going to do that for our commercial supply chain, which is ventilators, personal protective equipment, could even be for food. But right now I think it's just more so like for medical devices and personal protective equipment. It's more ways that the federal government is like, fusing with the private sector to help everyone out. But what's interesting is like I'm hearing a lot of questions. They asked like LA, they asked the federal government, like they're talking about, I don't know if they asked LA, but they asked Trump. They were like, hey man, like why is it that we're beefing up the supply chains with all of this stuff that are going to the private sector, but then there's a bidding in the states, different states in America have to bid over, ventilators, and whoever like gives, like whoever's like, I'll pay 1,000 or the most amount of money for a ventilator gets it. They're like, it shouldn't be a free for all. It shouldn't be like the Hunger Games. There's not really, and I don't know the validity to that question. It's certainly a good question. An answer that I heard was that the Defense Production Act, which we've talked about a couple times, essentially allows the government to force people like General Motors, people like Ford, which by the way, they're like in a race to see who can build more ventilators. I think General Motors and Ford, which is kind of tight. But the reason that they're in that race to build the most ventilators, which they're saying 100,000 by June, thousands by the end of next month, by May, which is, I think we need way more, but solid. At least we're doing something. The mobilization, not that we need more. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're probably working as hard as they can. But they're saying that there's 3 different stages for the Defense Production Act, which allows the government to make Ford and General Motors compete to build and have to build ventilators. The first one is mobilization of the industrial base, which basically means like forcing Ford and forcing General Motors to build medical equipment. The second one is the allocation of materials. So making it so that if Ford and General Motors need more materials to build ventilators, they make sure they have all the materials they need to build those ventilators. Makes sense, right? The third thing is persecuting hoarders. They call it like bust them, like bust someone. Doesn't sound as nice as allocation of materials or mobilization of the industrial base. Bust them. Anyway, but it is the third step, which essentially goes what we're talking about. If states have to bid to see who outbids the other state for a ventilator, the Department of Justice is going to be like, the DOJ as they call it, is allowed to go and be like, you can't do that. But I don't know if they're actually going to do that. They busted down on like some place in New Jersey or something for hoarding masks. I don't know if they're going to bust down on the private sector. I feel like when they're like, why are you letting states have bidding wars over medical supplies that we all need? They're like, we're busting down on random other things. It's like, all right, bro. So this is just where I'm at. Doesn't make sense. It's not. Maybe it's not supposed to make sense, but I just figured I'd give it. That was number 9, the Defense Production Act, and states bidding. The conversation about it. Number 10 is I thought super cool, and I just wanted to share it. There's a lot of Latinos. There's a lot of undocumented citizens, undocumented people living in Los Angeles. So the state of California is putting $50 million into the Infrastructure and Development Bank, which is known as the iBank, Infrastructure Development Bank, for small businesses. $50 million that'll go to small businesses that are struggling right now. And that includes undocumented immigrant entrepreneurs who own businesses. Which is 63% of new businesses are started by immigrants in Los Angeles. So this is a really big thing because the federal government stimulus package that helps small businesses doesn't include undocumented immigrants. And this one being passed, $50 million in California, does. And there's a lot of there's 63% of new businesses are started by immigrants here in Los Angeles. So it's a really big thing that Governor Newsom, I think, of California has passed. Really great day, just for undocumented immigrants. All right, that was 10. I told you it was 10. See, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not gonna do the rest of it. Why would I do that? It's just weird. Besos, Daniel. Okay, so now some links. If you live in New York City, or if you don't live in New York City. If you're a doctor or a nurse or a healthcare worker, or if you're trained at all in the medical field and you want to get involved and help somewhere that needs help, go to newyorkcity.gov/help now. That's nyc.gov/help now. nyc.gov/help now. And you can go and you can be like, yo, I want to help in New York. And they'll be like, word, we need you at Elmhurst. Word, we need you in the Bronx. Word, we need you at here. So you can go and help. There's a federal paycheck protection program happening. It opens tomorrow. It's first come, first serve. It's small businesses with fewer than 500 employees are eligible to get like loans. I think there's 0 interest rate. So if you or your dad or your mom or your uncle or your aunt or your brother or your sister owns and runs a company with less than 500 people working at that company, starting tomorrow, they can apply for loans that'll help them stay above ground when, there's no money coming in. And they can apply at www.sba.gov. That's www.sba.gov. G-O-V. First come, first serve. Super exciting. Back to New York. If you live in New York and you don't know where your next meal is going to be, and you really need food, they are expanding meal programs throughout the city. There's 435 sites across the 5 boroughs. If you know anyone living in New York, and they're having trouble finding food, from 7:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., there are 3 meals a day being offered to children and their families. No one's going to be turned away for food. And then from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., 3 meals a day to adults. This is huge. So to find your zone or to find your school, to find your meal program, text food, FOOD, or text comida, COMIDA. I can't do it in Spanish. So text food or comida to 877-877. 877-877. Text comida or text food to 877-877. 877-877. And then find out if you live in New York where you can get some food. Now, if you're in Los Angeles, this is tight. If you're in Los Angeles, they also open 63 grab-and-go food distribution sites. Hundreds of thousands of meals are being given out every single day. Every single day. To find these locations for food, if you live in Los Angeles, in the greater Los Angeles County, and if you need food, if you don't know where your next meal is coming from, you can go to Achieve, ACHIEVE .lausd.net/resources, RESOURCES. This is to find locations for food in Los Angeles if you're having trouble getting food for your family. That's Achieve, ACHIEVE .lausd.net/resources, RESOURCES. One more time, achieve.lausd.net/resources. I'm going to be doing all of this in Spanish. I'm going to let the mayor do something in Spanish. Why would I change clothes? I'm staying in my room all day long. I got no reason to change clothes. You can donate to the mayor's fund if you want to donate in Los Angeles. There's if you want to donate to your city, just look up your mayor's government office. There's plenty of places you can donate. You can donate to Favored Nations this weekend if you wanted to. We cover a grand spectrum of COVID-19 relief programs, but I'm not supposed to tell you that, so stop asking questions about it. Okay, fine. If you live in the greater Los Angeles area, which is like Pasadena, Long Beach, all the way up to like Thousand Oaks, and kind of beyond, and if you even Inland Empire a little bit, you go to and you want to see if you're eligible to get tested and you want to get tested, we're testing a lot of people every single day, and the number of people that we're testing goes up every single day. You can go to coronavirus.lacity.org to see if you're eligible to be tested for COVID-19. That's coronavirus, coronavirus.lacity.org. to see if you're eligible to get tested. And you can do that if you're in the greater Los Angeles area, Inland Empire, Long Beach, Pasadena, Glendale, even up to like Thousand Oaks and probably Calabasas for sure, maybe up to Ventura. I think they're just trying to get more people to take tests. Also, if you live in California, and this is a big thing, okay? If you live in California and you're uninsured, which means you don't have health insurance, if your family doesn't have health insurance because they got laid off, they got laid off due to a life event, something like if you got sick, you can go to coveredca.com and apply to get health insurance, where they will receive health coverage for this pandemic. Super important. Super, super important. With the stimulus package that the federal government has passed, it's given plenty of opportunities for states and cities and counties to help us get the coverage we need. Already, two of the largest insurance companies in America have waived all fees and said they would cover COVID-19. But that's if you have health insurance, which so many people don't have health insurance. And if you don't, go to coveredca.com and see if you're eligible to receive health coverage for COVID-19 if you don't have insurance due to a job loss or another life event. So that's where we're at, people. Other states. What you can do if you're curious about the state that you live in, You can go and Google your mayor and your mayor's office. I guarantee you there's a website, and you will be able to find a whole bunch of information on what's happening in your city, legislatively wise, or whatever. I focus on Los Angeles because I live in Los Angeles. I focus on New York. New York is getting ripped right now. I cover places that are hotspots like Detroit, Michigan, a little bit, Louisiana, and places like New Jersey. I cover more broad strokes, and then the federal government, the thing that the federal government's doing. As bigger hotspots pop up, and if mayors start doing live updates, I will start listening to them. Right now, the only mayors that I can listen to that I know that are doing updates every single day are Blasio, the mayor of New York, Eric Garcetti, mayor of Los Angeles, and then the federal task force, which is Trump and his task force. Those are the people that I listen to, and this is the information that I give from there. When it comes to your individual state or county legislative processes, when it comes to relief, insurance coverage, or small business owner loans, you can Google that and you can find that yourself. In fact, I encourage everyone who's listening to go and do this researching and this due diligence, the diligence due to this cause, the due diligence to this on their own. It's much better if you learn how to do this. I've never been someone who has been in the know with my government federally. I've never really known. It's just been a lot of information, and for some reason I feel compelled to be in the know now. I can promise you it makes me feel more relaxed. It makes me have less anxiety. I feel not in control, but far more comfortable with who is in control because I'm aware of what's happening as it's happening. Another really interesting thing that I found was that Los Angeles reacted very quickly to COVID-19. Very, very quickly. And I'm seeing places in America that are being hit way harder than Los Angeles. Not way harder, but harder in some places that are being hit way harder, that are now taking steps at the same moment that Los Angeles is. So if I were you, I would pay attention to places like LA, because we are, from what I can understand, we are very much ahead of this curve, and other states have been adopting our policies I've been in quarantine for 19 days or 18 days now, and Los Angeles did a state order over 2 weeks ago to stay at home. So anyway, all I'm saying is you don't have to just listen to your state. Get your information from a bunch of different places and then do what's most safe for you. I love you guys so much. I'm going to play a little bit of Spanish for those who prefer Spanish. If you speak Spanish, if your mama speaks Spanish, tu papa dice español, tu hermana, tu hermano, tu novio, tu novia, tu hija, hijo, go get them. Go get them. Vamos. Información de mayor de Los Angeles, ahora en español. I tried. So here we go. Without further ado, oh man, did I not set it up? Oh, I'm such a dumbass. I always do this. Give me a break. Yep, I gotta do it. Okay, what's happening to me right now? Let's go. Okay, far out. Give me 1 second. I swear to God, I'm gonna get this right. Oh, jeez, what the fuck's happening? Get out. Guys, how do we fucking do this? Alright then, I guess I'm just gonna I can't handle myself with technology. I'm so stupid sometimes with it. How do I? No! Why is it full screen? Guys, help me, please. For fuck's sake. Oh my God. Oh, did I get it? I think so. While I find this, why not play a little bit of music? Also, guys, Jesus Christ, therapy is badass and it's important. So 80% of people that suffer from depression don't get help because they think it's weird or not cool because of stigma. 80% of people, and 80% of people that do get help with their depression actually overcome it. So that's a lot of people that are not getting help for something that is totally normal and okay to ask for help for. And then of those people that actually are going to therapy, a huge amount of them, 80%, are getting over their depression and working through it and learning tools to deal with it, which I just think is absolutely incredible. All right, let's see if we can get Spanish. Hold on. Oh, that sounds like Spanish. All right.
But those are coming back down to know the difference between different types of ventilation or masks. Or we want para parar este. Just a second. Thanks.
Okay. All right, guys. Took me way too long. Here we go. All right. Oh God. I really hope I didn't just. That sucks. I gotta cancel.
I'll let you say 3 times. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Buenas tardes, Los Ángeles, y gracias por venir a la alcaldía de la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Y hoy estuve con doctora Ferrer, directora del Departamento de Salud Pública del Condado, pero yo quiero dar mis gracias a ella, a todo el equipo del condado y las otras ciudades en el condado de Los Ángeles. Somos un equipo unido y con la gente de Los Ángeles estamos luchando para parar esta crisis de coronavirus, de COVID-19. Y estoy agradecido con el condado por su colaboración con nosotros. Hoy en el condado de Los Ángeles hubieron 534 casos nuevos. En total tenemos 4,045 casos. En la ciudad de Los Ángeles hay 207 casos nuevos y un total de 1,787 casos. Fallecieron 11 personas, un récord desafortunadamente, en el condado hoy. Y ahora son un total de 78 en total. Estamos profundamente tristes y nuestros pensamientos y oraciones están con las familias de los fallecidos esta noche. Hoy hicimos 2,100 pruebas de detección. En total hemos hecho 14,400 y la semana que viene llegaremos al 30,000. Tenemos 9 sitios públicos para pruebas en el condado, no solamente en la ciudad ahora, incluyendo 7 en la ciudad y 2 más en el condado. Visite la página coronavirus.lacity.org para saber si es elegible para hacerse una prueba ahora. No necesita vivir en la ciudad de Los Ángeles para recibir una prueba. Sabemos que muchos están haciendo lo necesario para aplanar la curva. Vimos que bajaron los accidentes de auto el 59% desde que implementamos la orden de más protegidos en casa. El Departamento de Transporte está lanzando un nuevo servicio para instalar gratis letreros cerca de restaurantes para establecer zonas de parqueo temporales para personas recogiendo su comida para llevar. Restaurantes pueden aplicar. Todos deben mantener sus caras cubiertas en Los Ángeles.
Sorry, guys.
Además, desde que anuncié la nueva guía para proteger a los trabajadores en obras de construcción, el Departamento de Construcción y Seguridad ha inspeccionado a 1,912 obras en construcción hoy. Y gracias a los trabajadores del departamento por su visión, su trabajo y su cariño. Visita la página ladbs.org para conocer las reglas en sitios de construcción. Es muy importante, especialmente por los trabajadores. Los sitios que no están actando en conformación de nosotros pararemos su construcción. Además, el distrito escolar ha abierto 63 sitios para recoger comidas y ayer distribuyeron 435,000 comidas. Gracias a nuestros hijos, y no se importa si su hijo está en el distrito de LAUSD, es por todos los niños en Los Ángeles. Para encontrar un sitio cerca de ti, visita la página achieve.lausd.net/resources. También abrieron una línea telefónica para apoyo de consejeros y profesionales de salud mental. Es muy difícil para nuestros hijos. Como un padre, yo sé, es difícil. Si necesita ayuda o su hijo o hija necesita ayuda, llama a 213-241-3840 para un asistente, profesionales que puedan ayudarte. El gobernador Newsom anunció hoy que el estado estará agregando 50 millones de microcréditos para empresas que no son elegibles para préstamos de la Administración de Pequeñas Empresas. Además de 17.8 millones de dólares para apoyar a los trabajadores de California afectados por COVID-19, con 7.8 millones de dólares dedicados para la región de Los Ángeles. Y les recuerdo, Covered California ha extendido su periodo de inscripción especial hasta el 30 de junio. Visite el sitio coveredca.com si necesita seguro médico. Estos son momentos difíciles para todos nosotros. Me siento increíble las acciones de angelinos cada día a proteger nuestra ciudad, nuestras familias y nuestro mundo. Ahora sabemos que tenemos que hacer cada día. Quédense protegidos, quédense en buena salud, quédense en casa. Mucha fuerza y mucho amor, Los Ángeles. Y con esto, preguntas. Take the first question.
And our only question on the Spanish line comes from Leon from Univision. Please go ahead.
No puedo escuchar mucho, pero creo que fue una pregunta de nuestros desaparecidos. Son unas palabras de esto. Gracias, León. Estamos haciendo todo lo posible para proteger a nuestros vecinos sin hogar durante esta crisis. Tenemos más de una docena de sitios que está ofreciendo pruebas de detección para esta comunidad. Y estas pruebas empezó hoy. Es muy importante para mí porque estos son los más vulnerables de la población. Y tenemos 900 habitaciones en hoteles y moteles para que personas infectadas puedan estar en cuarentena. Y es muy importante también porque estas personas no tienen un hogar, pero estos moteles y hoteles son santuarios para estas personas. Y tenemos más de 300 estaciones con lavamanos por toda la ciudad, nuevos baños en las calles también, porque es muy importante por su sanitación también. Y contamos con más de 500 casas rodantes llegando a sitios como nuestros parques. Estos son por la isolación y cuando necesitamos tener una persona con COVID-19, estos son los lugares para ellos. Pero es muy importante continuar porque este virus, las personas en las calles son las personas más vulnerables y también necesitamos la ayuda. Pero gracias al gobernador Newsom, gracias a la administración en Washington, el trabajo del Congreso, tenemos más de 50 millones de nuevos dólares. Pero necesitamos encontrar más y más y más hoteles y moteles. Ahora es mi visión, mi sueño, a tener 15,000 habitaciones para las personas en las calles. Finalmente, el centro de convención es un lugar donde nosotros podemos poner la gente, por ejemplo, de Skid Row o otros lugares, y ahora será un hospital para ellos con otros miembros de la comunidad. Gracias. ¿Uno más? Take another question?
One moment, please, while we gather the names.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think it's all right if you don't have the name. You can just ask the question.
We do have a question from the line of Gabriel Herta from Telemundo,
Okay.
LA.
Hola, Gabriel.
Please go ahead.
I have two questions. First one is if the city has any plan in relation to the transportation services.
Sí, sí.
Will the metro or the bus service be suspended or reduced in the next days? We know some cities like Carson are already doing something like that. And the second question is, we know that there are many restaurants in Los Angeles that are closing the doors and transforming their businesses into small stores. Does the city have programs or plans to offer them some kind of support?
Sí.
Thank you so much.
Gracias, Gabriel. No tenemos planes para cerrar servicios de transporte público con LA Metro. Es importante continuar a proveer este servicio a los trabajadores en nuestros hospitales, a los oficiales del departamento de policía, bomberos, otras personas que necesitan trabajar y que dependen en estos servicios. El autobús de la ciudad de Los Ángeles, Dash, es gratis durante esta crisis. Hay reducciones en servicio en el Metro, Dash y otros sistemas, pero no hay planes a cerrar. Este es crítico, pero estamos lavando las estaciones, los autobuses, etcétera. Y gracias a todos los trabajadores de Metro, de Dash, el Departamento de Transporte de la Ciudad de Los Ángeles y otras ciudades por su valor, su coraje durante porque ustedes están dando a la gente de Los Ángeles no solamente una poca de esperanza, pero acceso a la comida, acceso a sus medicinas, etcétera. Es muy, muy importante. Segundo, por el apoyar de nuestros restaurantes están sufriendo mucho durante esta crisis y estamos haciendo todo lo posible para protegerles y también asistirles. Ayer anuncié que tomamos acción con el condado para permitir que los restaurantes puedan también ofrecer productos comestibles en sus menús para llevar. Si hay un restaurante que tiene ese servicio para llevar, ahora es legal para también dar estas comidas o productos comestibles también. Y espero que puedan dar un poco más asistencia durante esta crisis a estos restaurantes y mercados. Aunque no puedan aceptar clientes en sus restaurantes, esta forma de innovación, en mi opinión, este momento les ayudará a sobresalir. Gracias por sus preguntas y gracias a toda la gente por sus acciones y mucha fortaleza, mucha fuerza y amor. Adiós.
Booyah. And there you have it. You are American boy. You damn right. It's who I am. Mami, ¿qué te quiere? Oh. Te quiero usted más. I don't know what that means. All right, this has been Beanie Time. Beanie Talk. Talking with a beanie. Adios, buenas noches. Mwah. Ciao.